Hi everybody, it's October, and as my friend Boris here will tell you, say hi Boris. Hello. The gremlins have been playing with me already. I did do the pics of my sticks, and I did videotape it, but in Cedar Rapids we have had outages, we have had flooding, and things have been up and down, and I lost that video. So I'm going to talk to you and talk you through this a little bit because I have my documents made for the month of October, and as we discussed it, there were some questions about what some of this meant. So step one is drip and squirt, and you can interpret that any way you want to. I don't care what you drip, I don't care what you squirt. Step two is add paste. Now that can be any kind of paste you want. Molding paste, regular glue, whatever you want to do. Step three is make a stencil. Well, that can be anything too. I mean, you can take something like this. This is a piece of plastic that I cut out and made my own stencil. Actually, this is a mask, not a stencil. Or, you could take something like, here's a plastic bag that had a handle in it. I can use that and use that to do a stencil with, okay? So it can be very simple, it can be complicated, however you want to make it. Use hot glue. Same thing here. It doesn't mean that you have to put hot glue on the page. You can put hot glue on the page. I've seen some really cool techniques using foiling, using hot glue. But it also might mean you're just gluing something down, or you might be making another stamp or stencil out of hot glue, because you can do that too. So that's a choice. Now, step 5 says white out or pearl powder, and or, I don't know, white out is correction fluid, and I've got a couple of different kinds here. Here's Papermate, here's Presto. If you don't happen to have this, that's okay. I mean, if you're using the pen form, you could just use a white paint pen. If you are using the tape form, because there's tape whiteout, I mean, you can just apply that to your page. A lot of different ways you can see this. If you don't have any of that, white paint, I'm good with that. Or pearl powder. Pearl powder could be anything. Could be any of the powders that you have that are pearly, or it could be like eyeshadow or something like that. So, those are options. Step 6, use a tab. Okay. People were questioning that. You know what a tab is on a file folder? It could be a tab from a file folder. It could be a tab from a pop can. It could be a tab from a shirt. Could be any kind of tab. There's no rules. Step 7, add texture. Well, we all know how to do that. So, however you want to add texture. Step 8, use a jelly print or deli scribble. Okay. Jelly printing, you've probably all seen by now, that's using a jelly print plate to make monoprints, or, any other way that you want to use a jelly plate, because I've seen some really cool stuff out there. Or a deli scribble. Well, deli scribble is referring to scribbling onto a piece of deli paper. So if I had a piece of deli paper, let me just grab something here. This would be a deli scribble, where I've taken a piece of deli paper and I've scribbled onto that piece of deli paper. And you ask, well, how do you do that? Well, you can do that any number of ways. You can put something underneath, like a stencil. You could use a crayon, or you could use a paint, or anything you want to use, and just, add some texture to that paper. Okay? That is a deli scribble. Now, does that mean you have to do it that way? No. it means that that is typically what is thought of as a deli scribble. You can interpret it any way you want to. Step 9, make your own stamp and use it. Now, there were questions about that. When you stamp, you can use anything to stamp with. You can use, okay, this had tape on it. You know, you can stamp with this. This can be make your own stamp. You can take foam, and these are pieces of foam that I've cut and adhered to another piece of foam, and I use this on my deli plate to do stamping with. So this is a stamp that I made, not necessarily a carved out one, but you can carve one if you want to. These are stamp carving tools. And if you want to carve a stamp, like here I have carved a stamp, and just take your tools and some rubber or an eraser and carve a stamp. So that's step 9, and then step 10 is use a sponge. Well, there's lots of ways to use a sponge. Okay, so then we take those 10 steps, we mix them up again, and then we decide what is it that we're going to do for 3 steps on an artist trading card. So what I found in step 1 was to make and use your own stamp. So we are already doing that, so make and use that stamp, or make another one if you want to. If you really enjoyed that, make multiple stamps. That's what this is about, is to get your juices flowing. Step 2, drip and squirt. That's pretty straightforward. And step 3 is use a tab. So for the artist trading card, the hashtag is PASC ATC 1016. And for the Pick a Stick Challenge, it's PASC 1016. Use this hashtag whenever you're using other media other than Facebook, because we go out and search other social media to see who's out there and who's posting. And we would like to see what you're doing. We have the Facebook group, of course, and we would like you to join us if you haven't already. And post your work in there, because we have folders for the month for both the challenge itself, for your journal page, and for the artist trading cards. If you post in those, if you are participating, then you have your name in a hat for a drawing and possibly can be winning some prizes. So go forth and create, guys, and Boris will be watching. Bye for now.